Usually when we talk about beauty, there's this expectation of preservation. Like a museum. You buy a perfect white couch and you spend the next 10 years absolutely terrified of a spilled glass of red wine.
Right, yeah. We want things frozen in time. Completely flawless.
But the sources you sent us on the Japanese philosophy of Wabi-Sabi flip that entirely.
Oh, absolutely.
Welcome to this deep dive, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not just a bumper sticker about the beauty of imperfection. Today, our mission is to look at a concept born from pretty dark linguistic origins that somehow triggered a 16th century assassination and, literally changes our neural pathways.
Yeah, starting with those dark origins, the words themselves originally carried a very heavy negative weight.
Like, how negative are we talking?
Well, Wabi basically described the misery of living out in nature, completely isolated and impoverished. And Sabi meant chill, lean, or withered. It had this really strong sense of desolation.
Misery and withering. I mean, not exactly a luxury spa retreat.
No, definitely not.
So how did a concept of beauty evolve from such bleak roots? It's kind of like modern slang, right? How words just flip their meaning entirely.
Exactly like that. Over centuries, heavily influenced by Zen Buddhist thought, those definitions softened. Wabi shifted from this forced, miserable isolation to an empowered choice to live with less.
Oh, so finding quiet richness in simplicity.
Right. And Sabi transformed from desolate emptiness to an appreciation for the passage of time. The wear and tear on an object became a record of its life, a positive impermanence, rather than, a sign of ruin.
Okay, wait, I'm struggling to square this circle. If this whole philosophy is about finding peace in withered, simple things, how did it trigger a warlord to order a political assassination?
It's wild, right?
Yeah, it sounds like the exact opposite of Zen.
Well, it really comes down to feudal power dynamics. You see, tea ceremonies started simply. Zen monks drank it literally just to stay awake during long meditations.
Oh, so it's just a caffeine fix.
Yeah, basically. But powerful warlords co-opted the practice. It became this flashy, gaudy way to show off incredibly expensive, flawless Chinese utensils, like a massive flex of wealth.
Right, the 16th century equivalent of parking a fleet of sports cars in your living room.
Exactly. And then enter a tea master named Senno Rikyu. He radically stripped the ceremony down to its rustic essence.
Right, I read about this. There's that famous story where a disciple spends all day scrubbing a garden path until it's spotless, right?
Yes, and Rikyu comes out, shakes a maple tree, and scatters random leaves across the pristine path.
Which is such a brilliant move.
It really is. To him, that natural randomness was perfection. He started using humble, uneven local pottery instead of the flawless Chinese imports.
Which unfortunately deeply offended his boss, the warlord Hideyoshi.
Yeah. Hideyoshi came from a peasant background and was, well, incredibly insecure. He began to fear that Rikyu's humble aesthetic was actually an elaborate, high-level joke at his expense.
Like a mockery of his absolute power.
Exactly. So Hideyoshi ordered Rikyu to commit harakiri. Yeah. Rikyu held one final quiet tea ceremony with his closest friends, and then obeyed the order.
Man, Rikyu was essentially practicing a radical form of letting go, even in the face of death. And what's wild is that modern brain scans actually show us what was likely happening in his head.
Yes, the neuroscience here is fascinating.
Right. The research you shared compares this mindset to kintsugi, that Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold lacquer.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, it suggests that psychological high acceptors are basically doing that to their own emotional resilience.
Brain scans of these high acceptors map perfectly onto that. When they experience failure or ambiguity, their brain's default mode network doesn't instantly trigger the amygdala's panic response.
So they just don't panic.
Right. By not fighting the flaw or the negative emotion, they bypass the stress cycle entirely. That physical mechanism preserves their cognitive bandwidth, which results in vastly better emotional regulation.
So they just lean into the crack in the bowl, bypassing the panic completely.
Exactly. And this maps directly onto how Rikyu's favored pottery, rakuware, was made.
Oh, right, because of how they fired it.
Yes. Artists would pull the pottery out of the kiln while it was red hot and smother it in sawdust, literally starving it of oxygen. They abandoned control.
They just let the chemical reactions do whatever.
Right. They let random chance dictate the final look, just like a high acceptor lets go of the need to dictate every emotion or outcome.
So Wabi-Sabi is clearly not just an excuse for a messy house or a sloppy project.
Definitely not.
It's a radical, historically dangerous, and scientifically validated practice of accepting the passage of time.
And letting go of control. It's the realization that things don't need to stay unchanged to be complete.
I love that. So, leaving you with this thought to mull over. The next time you look in the mirror and spot a new wrinkle, or you take a sip from a chipped coffee mug, ask yourself, are you just seeing decay? Or are you witnessing the quiet golden trace of Sabi?